headlines on RT International, the US brands Moscow's call for an emergency Security Council meeting cynical and hypocritical after Russia's defense ministry does confirm that American warplanes killed 62 Syrian soldiers.
As Ambassador Power walked in, first thing she said, she was not interested in what I had to say, because what I was saying is a stunt.
Everybody get off of the street! Let's go! Get off the street!
At least 29 people injured in a bomb blast in Midtown Manhattan. A second potential device was also found a few blocks away. And voting is underway in Russia's 2016 parliamentary elections. Throughout the day here on RT International, we continue our special coverage. It's at 5 p.m. on Sunday here in Moscow. Thanks for joining us. It's RT International. US-led coalition airstrikes targeting a Syrian army position have killed 62. That's according to the Russian Ministry of Defense. RT's Paula Slier has more.
Well, at around 5 o'clock local time Saturday evening, the US-led coalition planes carried out 4 airstrikes in the Deir ez-Zor region of eastern Syria. 62 Syrian soldiers were killed and around 100 more were injured. The Syrian army had at that point been surrounded by Islamic State, who they were fighting, but the strikes gave Islamic State a chance to then advance into the territory that had been held by the Syrian military. The Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that the Islamic State offensive began right after the Syrian army positions had been hit from the air, and this was echoed by the Syrian Army General Command that said after the strikes, to quote, the way was paved for Islamic State militants to advance. As a result, Russia, along with other allies, was forced to send forces to fight the jihadists there. And that's why the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova suggested that the White House is defending Islamic State. Now, we have heard from the Pentagon in a statement that they issued. They admitted that they had made a mistake, but said that immediately after they were informed by the Russians that they had possibly hit Syrian positions, they suspended the airstrikes. But having said that, it doesn't take away from the fact that Islamic State were able to advance into that territory.
The actions of the coalition's pilots, if, as we hope, had not been taken upon Washington's orders, verge on criminal negligence and direct connivance with Islamic State.
After the attack, Russia called an emergency UN Security Council meeting behind closed doors. Washington reacted quite aggressively to the move. The US ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, branding it cynical and hypocritical.
She decided to join the Assad regime, escalating the conflict, and perhaps worst of all, itself adopting some of the regime's worst practices, hitting hospitals, hitting refugee camps. And they're calling this emergency meeting? Really? Now, because of a single airstrike, a strike that if it struck regime forces, did so in error, a strike that we have swiftly acknowledged and committed to investigating.
I've never seen such an extraordinary display of American heavy-handedness as we're witnessing today. As I was talking in the Security Council, sharing our analysis and frustration over the situation of Syria, Ambassador Power chose to talk to you. The only thing her deputy had to say in response to my comments was that the U.S. is investigating what has happened at Deir ez-Zor. As Ambassador Power walked in, first thing she said, she was not interested in what I had to say, because what I was saying is a stunt.
We spoke to Soraya Fass, a Syrian-American independent U.S. presidential candidate, who believes the current chaos in Syria could have been easily avoided, I should say, if indeed at the beginning of all of this, Washington had agreed to cooperate with Moscow.
The only way how we're going to combat terrorism is if the United States current administration, along with Europe and everybody else, takes this seriously and works with Russia, along with the Syrian current government, to get rid of these people. This is ridiculous what's going on, and I feel it's not just an intelligence issue. This is an act of America wanting to be, it's an ego trip. That's what I think it is. Had we participated with Russia, worked with them and their intelligence from the beginning of time, we wouldn't have the issues that we're having today, 6 years into the game.
Yeah, we'll take this story a few steps further here on RT International. In just a few minutes, we'll be joined by Dr. Butahin Shahab, a political and media advisor to the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. So stick around for that.